Robbie suddenly chucked a scarecrow off the edge. The scarecrow's sudden drop from up high caught speeding cars off guard with no time to swerve. Vehicles on the road started spinning out of control. Cars were crashing left and right. A pileup slammed dozens of them together. The sound of shattering glass and metal crunching left his buddies frozen in shock. But Robbie just stood there, smirking with a twisted grin. He gleefully soaked in the chaos he'd caused. In just a few minutes, his reckless stunt wrecked over a dozen cars on the road. That afternoon, the news broke about the car crash. The scene was a total mess, but thankfully, no one died. Just a few folks ended up in the hospital. Even after causing such a disaster, Robbie felt zero remorse. He dragged Jack along to sneak into a factory. They grabbed rocks and smashed every window in sight. The loud shattering glass drew the factory guards. They bolted the second they saw them. The older guard couldn't keep up, out of breath, so he unleashed a dog to chase them down. The snarling beast was closing in fast. In a split second, Robbie slammed shut the wooden gate at the bridge's end. That stopped the dog's attack just in time. But a troublemaker like Robbie wasn't about to let that dog off easy. The next day, Robbie showed up with a homemade crossbow. He staked out the bridge. Robbie took aim at the dog, then he pulled the trigger. He shot the dog dead on the spot. Jack was horrified by Robbie's cruelty once again.
Someone trying to scare him.
They stuffed the dog into a sack, then hauled it to a well. They dumped it in without a second thought. After pulling that off, good-hearted Jack was done with him. Jack walked away without looking back. That night, back home, Robbie was fuming inside. Right then, his little sister barged into his room.
Did I tell you about coming into my room? But you guys aren't working on it.
Robbie grabbed her by the ear. He shook her head hard, ready to take all his anger out on her. That's when Jack stormed in. He pinned Robbie against the wall. From that day on, the brothers became sworn enemies.